Welcome to the Resource Nexus podcast. As always, you can check out the full article along with stats and opinions at theresourcenexus.com. Back on December 5th, the concern was real. Through 6 games, LeBron James, the king, looked like he was laboring. An 11.7 average game score, a dismal 13.0 PER, the legendary 1,297 game double-digit scoring streak gone. And for the first time in 23 years, the word washed wasn't just a hater's meme. It actually looked like a statistical projection. Now fast forward, the regular season is gasping its final breaths, 56 games in the books, no more slow start, no more injury rust, no more hiding. We have a baseline, and the verdict? LeBron didn't fall off a cliff. He's finally descending the mountain, and somehow he's doing it more gracefully than any human in basketball history. The resurrection, elite and volatile burst. After that brutal start in December, LeBron didn't just stabilize. He reminded everyone exactly why he owns half the record book. Since that 6-game slump, he's been a metronome of high-end production. 22 of his 56 games this season produced a game score over 20. At 41 years old, that's absurd. He now has 54 career games over a 20-game score after age 40. That's more than the next 7 Hall of Famers combined. And then you look at the ceiling. 7 games with a game score over 26 in the second half of the season. That tells you everything. The floor has dropped, but the ceiling, still elite. We're talking about 30 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists type nights. Efficient shooting, controlling the game, dictating tempo. Those vintage LeBron performances, they're still there, just not every night anymore. And when you zoom out historically, it gets even crazier. You line up the best age 40-plus performances ever, guys like Michael Jordan and John Stockton, and LeBron dominates the list. Multiple entries, higher peaks, more consistency. We might have already seen his last 30-plus game score explosion, maybe, but with him, you never fully rule out one more masterpiece. The big picture, the linear slide. Now here's where it gets interesting. If you look at the trend line, this isn't about a sudden collapse. It's something much more predictable, much more mathematical. His PER over the last 5 seasons tells the whole story at 26.2, then 23.9, then 23.7, then 22.7, now 20.1. That's not randomness. That's a clean, linear decline. For the first time in his career, LeBron is flirting with that 20 PER line. And if you follow NBA analytics, you know what that means. 20 PER is the unofficial cutoff for all-star level play. Above it, you're elite. Below it, you're still very good, but you're no longer driving the league. And that's the tension right now. He's averaging about 20 points per game, sitting right at 20.1 PER. Everything is converging on that line. That line matters because once you dip into 18 or 19 PER territory, historically, you're no longer a superstar. You're a high-level starter. And for LeBron, that's not just a statistical shift. That's an identity crisis. Why the decline is real? This isn't coming from one weakness. It's structural. Start with the three-point shot. He's shooting 31.3% from deep. And just as important, the volume is dropping. For aging superstars, the 3-ball is the lifeline. It preserves your legs. It keeps defenders honest. Right now, it's doing the opposite. Defenders are sagging, making him work harder, forcing him into tougher looks. That's a tax on his efficiency. Then there's the role shift. We're watching him move from a primary engine to a high-end connector. Rebounds are down to about 6 per game. Usage is more selective, more surgical. He's picking his spots instead of controlling every possession. And then there's history, and history is undefeated. Jordan dropped from a 20.7 PER to 19.3. Kareem fell off even harder in his early 40s. LeBron is still beating the curve, but for the first time, he's finally following it. What history says happens next. Every all-time great hits this phase. Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dirk, Garnett, Chris Paul. The pattern is consistent. Once you're around 20 PER at 40 plus, the next step is below it. And once that drop starts, it usually accelerates. We've seen it. Chris Paul went from foundational piece, to trade chip, to almost unplayable. Dirk looked like an all-star at 37, then cratered to a 9.6 PER by 40. It happens fast. The 2027 forecast, reinvention or retirement. So the question becomes simple. Can LeBron hold the line for one more year? There is a path, a narrow one. His true shooting is still strong, just under 60%. If that three-point percentage jumps back to 35 or 36%, which is very realistic, everything changes. Efficiency goes up, spacing improves, the game gets easier again. In that scenario, he can stay around that 20-plus PER range, stay a top 25 player, extend the window, but it's thin, and it requires something aging players rarely get, a bounce back. The reality. The most likely outcome? PER dips into that 18 to 19 range next season. The offensive role continues to shrink. He transitions from second option to third to fourth. And that leads to the real question. Does LeBron stay for that version of his career? History, to an ego, suggests no. The line is here. What he's doing at 41 is still absurd. A statistical anomaly. It's still a top 30 player in the world. But for the first time in 20 years, we can see it. The slippage, the trajectory, the finish line. This isn't the cliff, not yet, but it's the closest he's ever been. For the first time, the 20 PER line is in play. The decline is measurable, and the trajectory, it matches history. And once history starts to match, it usually doesn't stop. The final sprint. LeBron isn't outrunning time anymore. He's pacing it. And as this season winds down, time is finally starting to close the gap. This offseason, it's everything. The situation has to be perfect. He needs point-of-attack defenders to cover for his lateral quickness, secondary scorers to carry the nightly burden. Offensively, he leans fully into that point-forward role, surrounded by creators, guys who can finally return the favor and create easy looks for him. The 20 PER era might be flickering, but it's not gone. Not yet. I expect him back for at least one more run, and if the shooting swings back in his favor, there's still a world where the King gives us one last All-Star season, one final act before the sun finally sets. All right, that's a wrap for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you got some good insights. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who'd find it useful. And don't forget to check out the resourcenexus.com for more in-depth analysis. Until next time, check you later.
Cool. Guess we'll see you around.
All right, check you later.
Bye.
Wait, man, why are you always such a dork, man? What are you talking about? Check you later. Check you later.